Chapter 1, Section 3, The Religion of Islam. What beliefs do you share with your friends or family members? Perhaps you share beliefs about right and wrong or good and bad. In this section, you will learn about the beliefs shared by Muslims. Questions to think about as we explore this section. Number 1, what basic beliefs do Muslims share? 2, what beliefs do Muslims share with Christians and Jews? Key terms to be defined for you through the Google Classroom will be Muezzin, Mosque, Ramadan, Hajj, and the Quran. Key people are Shiites and Sunnis. Please make sure to have your Google Doc open through the Google Classroom and complete the answers to the questions throughout the video. A Muezzin, a man who calls Muslims to prayer, looks out over the city and begins his call to noon prayers. The call rings out in 4 directions. There is no God but God, and Muhammad is his prophet. All over the world, faithful Muslims heed the call. Some kneel in houses of worship called mosques. Others kneel outside on the banks of the Indus River, in the Arabian Desert, or along the Mediterranean Sea. No matter where they are, the kneeling Muslims face Mecca. There is no God but God, the faithful respond, and Muhammad is his prophet. Muslim belief. This scene of prayer has been repeated around the world every day for hundreds of years. No matter where they live, Muslims share beliefs with others in the Islamic world. Their basic beliefs are expressed in what Muslims call the 5 pillars of Islam: faith, prayer, sharing, fasting, and pilgrimage. These 5 practices are the foundations of Islam. The 5 pillars of Islam. The first pillar, faith, is based on the words of the call to prayer. There is no God but God, and Muhammad is his prophet. This call expresses the Muslim statement of faith. The belief in one God is also the basis for the Jewish and Christian religions. Through the second pillar, prayer, Muslims communicate with God. The Muezzin calls Muslims to prayer from the minaret or tower of a mosque. Muslims pray 5 times a day, in the morning, at noon, in the afternoon, at sunset, and in the evening. The Muezzin signals the various prayer times. The third pillar is sharing. Muslims who can do so give a generous share of what they own to Muslims who are poor or sick. The fourth pillar, fasting, occurs during a special month called Ramadan. During Ramadan, Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset every day. They neither eat nor drink. In the evenings, children stay up late and join their parents in breaking the fast with a sweet, such as a few dates and a cool drink. Then, everyone sits down to an evening breakfast. The fifth pillar is the Hajj, a pilgrimage or sacred journey to Mecca. All Muslims who can afford to do so try to take the Hajj once in their lives. In Mecca, they meet other Muslims from all over the world. The Quran. As you read about the 5 pillars, you may have gotten a sense that Islam is not just a set of beliefs. It is a way of life. Islam is a guide to the way Muslims should live, conduct family life, and deal with others. The things God revealed to Muhammad included the rules of Islam, which are written in a book called the Quran. Many Muslims know the Quran by heart. Like the Torah, or Jewish holy book, and the Christian Bible, the Quran contains many kinds of writing, including stories, promises, warnings, and instructions. Relationships outside and inside Islam. There is a reason for the similarity of the Quran to Jewish and Christian holy books. Muslims, like Jews and Christians, regard Adam, Noah, Abraham, and Moses as important people in their religious history. Muhammad saw himself as the last prophet in a long line of prophets that included all of these people. People of the book. Muhammad felt respect for Jews and Christians. He called them people of the book. Muslims, Jews, and Christians all practice religion revealed in holy writings. They all believe in one single God. Rulers of the Muslim Empire saw Jews and Christians as protected people. As long as they accepted Muslim rule, Jews and Christians were allowed to practice their religions and pursue their own business affairs. However, they had to pay a special tax. Men's and women's roles. Muhammad insisted that all Muslims were equal in spirit, whether rich or poor, men or women. This equality allowed women to have many rights in early Islamic society that they did not have in other lands. For instance, they had a right to education and could not be married without their agreement. Despite this type of equality, men and women had very different roles in Islamic communities. Men were more likely to be involved in life outside the home. They inherited a greater share of property after a parent died. Muslim men were expected to treat their wives kindly and to provide for them. As, as Islam moved into other lands, Muslims sometimes adopted the attitudes towards women that they found in the places they conquered. In a few Muslim countries today, women must cover their faces when they go out of the house. Some Muslims find support for this in the Quran, which says that all believers, both men and women, should dress modestly. Schism. Sunni and Shiite Muslims. Earlier you read about a schism that split this Christian church in two at the time of the Byzantine Empire. A schism, or split, also occurred in Islam. In 656, Uthman, the ruler of the Muslim Empire, was assassinated. His death split the Islamic world in two. The two groups disagreed over who should be the rightful leader of Islam. The smaller group, the Shiites, argued that the ruler should be a direct descendant of Muhammad. They believed that Muhammad's descendants would be inspired by God, just as Muhammad had been. They also thought that this leader should tell Muslims what the Quran means. The larger group of Muslims, the Sunni, disagreed. They argued that any truly religious Muslim could lead the community. They believed that no one man, not even the leader of Islam, should tell Muslims what the Quran taught. The Sunni argued that a group of Muslim scholars could best say what the Holy Book means. This is the end of Chapter 1, Section 3. At this point, you should be able to answer a few questions. First, what shared beliefs unite Muslims? Second, what do Muslims, Jews, and Christians have in common? And finally, one of Islam's pillars is sharing. How would sharing one's wealth help the community? What do you think would happen if people in the community did not share their wealth with people who were less fortunate? Please also make sure that you have completed your Google Doc through the Google Classroom and submitted when you have finished. When you've done that, you're all done, and we will see you in class tomorrow. And as always, be excellent to one another.